What's up, guys? Probably bringing you today. Me doing some Eye of the Storm action. Eye of the Storm actually goes pretty well for us. A lot of times, I'm actually finding recently that a lot of BGs, right now. So this is like a couple days after Christmas. It's actually more even now. We seem to be losing just as much as we're winning. A lot of stuff going on. Well, when I'm playing by myself, anyway. When we actually get on. Oh, nice stun, nice stun, nice stun, nice stun. Oh, God, that was fucking close. That's the closest fucking cap I've had. Oof! 95k there. That's not gonna be a lovely little brainstorm. Warrior popping blade storms immediately because that's all he knows how to do. He's like, you know what I'm gonna do this BG? I'm gonna pop blade storm. Hey, what else are you gonna do, man? What do you mean what else? What do you mean what else? There is no other else. It's just blade storms. That's all it is. Anyway, what I said I was gonna talk about in this video was a continuation of my topic I was talking about last video, but just in case you didn't watch the last video, I'll make it a little bit more broad. I was about to get into the discussion of how I came to dislike my father. I know it sounds a bit heavy, but for me, this happened ages ago, so to me it's like not that big of a deal. But I was about to get into that kind of discussion with you guys last video, but the game abruptly ended because we were raping so much face. So I'll get into it now. And we have not got one base. We're all just in the mid. Jesus Christ, good drain over here. So, basically what I was about to say in the last video is how I hate discrepancies? Is that how you say it? Discrepancies in character. I dislike a lot. I dislike a lot of things when, but especially this thing right now. I hate when people act differently around other people. I hate when people, they put on a facade in front of you and then they act differently to other people behind your back and shit like that. That's one of the main things I hate in this world. I hate it. I hate it. And if you don't want to act a certain way in front of people, like don't act then. Just be quiet. Just chill out. Act like you're shy or something. You don't need to act differently. And then also a lot of people seem to like act like cunts when they're with their friends. And there's always this weird fucking thing going on. This guy's trying to nourish his buddy. Not gonna have that. And then I get ice stunned. No. I really need to pick up mirrored blades just for shit like that. Because a lot of times you can actually tell when a dick-faced mage is going to do that to you. But yeah, I hate when people do that stuff. Like for me, to be honest, a lot of the times, like the way I act on my YouTube channel, on my YouTube videos, is me. Like this is how I am in real life. But a lot of times, this kind of character that I am is not actually acceptable in social situations because people in real life are fucking weird and they get offended at everything. Oh, I'm so offended at the way you told me to go fuck myself. So yeah, I can't be myself a lot of times in front of people. So, but instead of being some like super nice guy and oh hey, my name's Luke and I'm just your average guy. I'm not gonna do that. But I'll be quiet and I won't like annoy you. I'm not gonna pretend to be someone else, but I'm also not gonna force my personality onto someone else. You know what I mean? Anyway, that completely got away from the topic that I was supposed to be talking about. What I was meant to be talking about is my father and how I learned basically what he was doing. So to tell this story, I have to kind of like lead up to it, which is throughout my life after my mother and my father got divorced, I heard stories from my sisters, never from my mother, from my sisters, about how my dad treated my sisters like shit, talked to my mother like shit, was an absolute asshole. My sisters would always tell me this. I never believed any word they said. Every single time they said, your father treats her like shit, he treats us like shit, he's an asshole. Every single time they said that stuff, I would not believe them. I just straight up wouldn't believe him. The reason I wouldn't believe him because he's my father. He's, oh, fucking daddy, yay, love you. Like, I gave him the benefit of the doubt every single time. Every single time, I was like, no, he's my father. I know him. I've known him for 11 years of my life. The only 11 years of my life that I've lived. He's molded me into what I am today. There's no way that someone who has made me into what I am could also be a cunt on the outside or in the inside or like a secret cunt. There's no way that he has a second personality where he's also an asshole. So I didn't believe him. I straight up didn't believe him. And he was, especially since he was nice to me pretty much all the time. Like he was like if you listen to a lot of my old WoW stories, a lot of them have to do with my father being a nice guy and being nice to me and let me play WoW, doing all that kind of stuff and blah blah blah. It was always nice to me. But eventually something weird happened in which I started to believe the stories. I started to like listen to the stories a lot more. They happened more frequently, and not only that, my dad kind of acted like an asshole towards me a few times. So I kind of started to be like, yeah, this could. I guess this could be true. I guess everything I'm hearing could be true. Maybe he is an asshole. Maybe he is a cunt. I don't know. I still gave him the benefit of the doubt, and Blake sat back there. But guess what, Blake? I do not give a shit about you. And I'm like, so I'll still keep seeing him. I'll still keep giving him the benefit of the doubt. But then, like, while this is all happening, he decides that he's going to move away from us to go work a job. Like when I say away from us, it's like a flight and a car drive, like super far away from us. And because of this, I don't see him that much. So that whole, like, me almost, like, coming to terms with him being a cunt and, like, being an asshole, it gets dismissed simply by the fact that I don't see him anymore. So I just kind of like, well, who gives a shit if he is or he isn't? You know, I'm not going to see him anymore anyway. Or if I do see him, it'll be for, like, a month at a time. You know, one time in the year. So who gives a shit if he's a cunt? You know, I'll just deal with it. But then, I guess, I went up and saw him once, and then the next time I came down, yeah, because I only went up and saw him once. I went up and, like, saw where he lived and shit, and then I came back down. And when I came down, he called me. And he called me kind of, he wasn't being aggressive to me, but it was definitely an aggressive phone call in which he called me and was like trying to convince me to go there and live with him, which, by the way, is super, it's like a weird thing. Like, my mother, by the way, is like a super nice mother, and throughout the whole, like, divorce, the whole thing that happened, she would always, like nearly every day would be like, do you want to see your father? Do you want me to take you to your father's? If you ever want to see him, let me know. I'll take you there. Like, she really wanted me to have that father figure in my life, and she didn't really care if he was an asshole to her or not. She knew he was nice to me, so she was always like, yeah, if you want to see him, I'll take you there. I'll take you there. You know, you can spend the rest of your life there if you want, as long as you see me every now and then. If it's what I wanted, she would have supported me, which is another reason why I love my mother, because she's been like that my entire life. If it's what I want to do, she'll support me. Anyway, so I'm like, get this phone call out of the blue, and he's like trying to convince me to go live with him. And he actually did it. He actually like, as fucked up as this sounds, he managed to convince me. I was at a point in my life where I think I was about 17. I wasn't in school anymore, and I really needed a job. And because I lived in the middle of the bush, where, like, I live with my mother, there's no jobs in it, there's no work, and he's giving me all these promises. He's like, I'll get you a job, I'll get you a car, we'll have all this stuff, we'll hang out, you know, you can play video games and shit. And he basically sugarcoated the shit out of, like, living up there, to the point where I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. And then I kind of backed out later on, like, while I was trying to, like, get ready for this, because, like, I didn't want to leave my mother. I loved her too much. I was too young still to just leave the house. And then he called me, and then I guess he assumed that my mother was the one that convinced me not to go or something. Like, even though she's never been like that ever in her entire life, she always supports me and says, do whatever you want to do. And he calls me, B's all nice to me on the phone. I give the phone to my mother so they can talk, and immediately my mother's, like, expression changes. I can tell he's just being an absolute cunt on the phone. I can hear I can hear the yelling from the phone. And I actually took the phone off my mother and put it to my ear, and I can hear him saying, like, you're a bitch, you're a slut, how could you take my son away from me, and all this kind of stuff. And when he said that, and I could hear him saying that to what would be my mother, who's supposed to be on the phone right now, it immediately, like, it was like a switch in my head. It was literally like a switch in my head where I was like, you were my hero, you were this guy that I loved, and you're now this monster. Like, one thing I cannot handle in this world is someone talking to my mother like that, or being violent towards my mother. If you do that, I will fucking murder you. And he's lucky that I stopped talking to him. And it changed my perspective on a lot of stuff in life, but I'll stop the video there since the game's over. I can't get into it too much more. Have a good day. Have a good life. Have a good year, guys. Hope this. Don't get depressed by the story of, like, not having a father figure or some shit. I'm completely fine with it. But I just thought, because I got into it last video, I should clarify in this one. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day. Have a good year. I'll see you next video. See you guys. Oh, no. Pypo, don't do it. Come to your sentence, Pypo, now.